Brahmana and Vaishnava. The conclusive comparison between Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Translated by Bhumipati Das. Continuation 8. In the Brahma Sutras 1.3.37 it is stated, translation, whether a person belongs to a varna other than that of his birth may be ascertained by considering his qualities. End translation. Purnaprajna Anandatirtha, Sri Madhvacharya, has written in his commentary on the story of Jabala in the Chandogya Upanishad as follows. Translation. By Satyakama's truthful statement, quote, I do not know, sir, which dynasty I belong to, end quote, Haridrumata ascertained that he was not a Sudra and therefore said, quote, a non-Brahmin cannot speak like this, end quote. He then proceeded to perform the purificatory rituals for him. End translation. Although there was no evidence that Satyakama Jabala was a Brahmin by birth, Gautama Rishi accepted him as a Brahmin upon hearing his truthful words. In his commentary on the Chandogya Upanishad, Madhvacharya quotes the following verse from the Sama Samhita. Translation. A Brahmin possesses the quality of simplicity, and a Sudra possesses the quality of crookedness. Knowing this fact, Gautama awarded sacred thread initiation to Satyakama and made him a first-class Brahmin. End translation. Further, Tribandana was born in the family of the Kshatriya king Mandata. Although his son, Trishanku, was born as a Kshatriya, he became a Chandala. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.7.5 as follows. Translation. The son of Tribandana was Satyavrata, who is celebrated by the name Trishanku. Because he kidnapped the daughter of a Brahmin when she was being married, his father cursed him to become a Chandala, lower than a Sudra. End translation. In the narration regarding Patrayana in the Chandogya Upanishad, 4th Prapatika, 2nd Kanda, it is stated that although he was not born in the family of a Sudra, he became a Sudra. In the Brahma Sutras 1.3.34 it is stated, when he, Janashruti Maharaj, heard words of condemnation against himself, he became overwhelmed with sorrow and immediately went to take revenge. End translation. In the Purnaprajna school of philosophy, Sri Madhvacharya has written in his commentary on this sutra of Vedanta. Translation. King Patrayana was not actually a Sudra. One is a Sudra if he is overly affected by lamentation. When Patrayana heard the disrespectful words, quote, this person is a spotted deer, end quote, he immediately wanted to retaliate and reply accordingly to his chariot driver. This implies that he was like a Sudra. End translation. In his commentary on the Chandogya Upanishad, Sri Anandatirtha Madhvacharya has written, translation, one who is overwhelmed by lamentation is a Sudra. In the Padma Purana it is described that although Patrayana Maharaj was a Kshatriya, he became overwhelmed with lamentation and thus was declared a Sudra by Raikva Muni. Later, the king attained the goal of life by learning the confidential meditation on prana from Muni. End translation. Again, from the Brahma Sutras 1.3.35, it is stated. Translation. As previously understood from the concluding words of this incident, and by using the word Tritrarata, it is understood that Janashruti was a Kshatriya. End translation. In his commentary on this sutra, Srimadvacharya has written. Translation. It is stated in the Brahma Purana that because Maharaj Patrayana had a mule-driven chariot, it is understood that he was a Kshatriya. The chariot was called a Tritrarata because it was pulled by mules. According to the Brahmavaivarta Purana, wherever the Vedas are present, a chariot is also. And wherever the Vedas are not present, a chariot will not be present. End translation. Because the Chitrarata was present, he is considered a Kshatriya. From all these Vedic narrations, it is understood that a person's Varna is known by his symptoms. Prashadra, the son of Manu, was the only Kshatriya to become a Sudra because of unknowingly killing a cow. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.2.9, translation. In your next life you shall not be able to become a Kshatriya. Instead you shall take birth as a Sudra because of killing the cow. End translation. When the hero Prashadra was thus cursed by his spiritual master, he accepted the curse with folded hands. End translation. Dista was a son of Manu. The son of the Kshatriya Dista was Nabhaga, who became a Vaishya. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.2.23. Translation. Dista had a son by the name Nabhaga. This Nabhaga, who was different from the Nabhaga described later, became a Vaishya by occupational duty. End translation. Moreover, his descendants gradually became Kshatriyas, as described in the Harivamsa 10.30. Nabhaga and the sons of Arista were Kshatriyas, but they became Vaishyas. End translation. One's Varna is currently ascertained only by seminal consideration. But the ancient and rational system approved of by scriptures is to ascertain one's Varna by considering one's symptoms. This is not the new imagination of selfish persons. In his commentary on the Mahabharata, Vanaparva 180, 25-26, Sri Nilakanta clearly says, translation. The symptoms of a Sudra, such as lust, are not present in a Brahmin. Similarly, the symptoms of a Brahmin, such as peacefulness, are not present in a Sudra. A Sudra who possesses the quality of peacefulness is certainly a Brahmin, and a Brahmin who possesses the quality of lust is certainly a Sudra. End translation. In his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 7.11.35, Srila Sridhar Swamipad has clarified the above statement as follows. Translation. The Brahman's main characteristics are qualities such as peacefulness, not birth. If these main characteristics are seen in persons other than those born as Brahmins, then such persons should be considered Brahmins. They should not be considered according to their caste by birth. End translation. Many persons who were not born in Brahmin families have become Brahmins by proper initiation. Innumerable incidents illustrating this fact are known to those who read Indian history. After such persons became qualified and initiated Brahmins, their descendants became known as Brahmins by virtue of their birth. Today, the whole of India is filled with such descendants of Brahmins. Even though one became a qualified and properly initiated Brahmin, he was still considered a Brahmin, simply on the basis of his birth. But since nowadays the social system is deformed, such qualified, initiated, seminal Brahmins are rarely found. We heard that in Varanasi there was a learned, unrivaled sannyasi whose name was respected by educated people throughout India. He bestowed Brahmin initiation on one of his disciples in whom he saw Brahminical qualities. When speaking the name of his Gurudev, this disciple would announce that he was awarded the purified status of Brahmin by the power of the sacred thread initiation. We are now presenting an incomplete list of intellectuals who were born in families lower than Brahmin, but who were considered Brahmins on the strength of their qualifications, and thus conferred the status of Brahmin on their descendants. Gaidi was the son of Kushika of the Chandra dynasty. He was the king of Kanyakubja, and his son Vishvamrita, although born a Kshatriya, became a Brahmin on the strength of his austerities. In the Mahabharata Adiparva, chapter 174, it is stated, Vishvamrita said to Vasishtha, "You are a Brahmin, endowed with the qualities of austerity and Vedic study. I am a Kshatriya, so on the basis of my nature, I will forcibly take this cow, Nandini." Later, when Vishvamrita was defeated, he declared that the strength of the Kshatriya was inferior to the strength of the Brahmins. He thus decided that the performance of austerities endowed one with superior strength. The greatly effulgent Vishvamrita thus performed all kinds of austerities and attained the position of a Brahmin. End translation.